Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review. I'm here today to talk to you about Star Trek Picard Season 3, Episode 1, The Next Generation. So, after 2 seasons, one abysmal season and one bad season, and after millions of complaints, they finally went back to form. And I gotta give it up. This was a very pleasant episode. This episode felt, out of all the new Trek, this one's the only one that felt close enough to old Trek and everything. Now, granted, it still has the really dark filter. Like everything is so dark. Even the bridge, man, of the Titan. Why is everything so dark still? But yeah, it has some new Trek stuff like the new warp drive, the way that the effect it does, some of the holographic screens, like the darkness, a little bit of the rude grittiness and stuff. It was the closest thing that actually felt like Star Trek in a very long time and everything. Like I am very it wasn't a perfect episode now, but I was very pleased and I actually enjoyed myself. Now, there's a very simple plot in this first episode. Not a whole lot goes on. In fact, it's a lot of talking, mostly between Riker and Picard. And even though that can be very boring at times, I was just very pleasantly pleased and stuff. I was just like, this is a nice breather. I can breathe. You know what I'm saying? I just had like a good time just watching it and stuff. But like I said before, it ain't perfect, but at least it felt like old Trek for the first time in years. And even though I still haven't seen the second one, I've seen clips. Lord Jesus have mercy. Those clips were abysmal. And season one, see, this season is how season one should have been. And if it would have been like that, not so many people would have been complaining this and that. Because, I always felt bad how people disrespected Patrick Stewart. Ever since the first season of the Picard show, so many diehard Star Trek fans have been dissing that man left and right. Oh, he's so old. Oh, his voice sounds so old. Oh, this and that. And oh, he needs to sit his behind down. I'm like, have y'all forgotten who you're talking about? This is the man who played Captain Jean-Luc Picard. Show that man some respect. Granted, not all of this is his fault. He's an executive producer and he gets to have some say in what's going on. And it's one of those things where some actors need to sit their behind down and just let the creative team do it. But the creative team can't do that well of a job either. So, but it's not all entirely his fault. And I always hate it when I hear people disrespect that man, He can't help it, his voice got older and stuff. And so that's just what happens when you get older and smoke a lot of weed, which he does. And stuff. And, and for the most part, Picard felt like Picard. Picard talked like Picard. Not that many people was dissing him on the show. Not many people was putting him down. Stuff for that one dude. They didn't make him seem too incompetent. Like when he didn't understand something about the Warp 9 and everything, Seven had to inform him. It felt natural. Him talking to Riker felt more natural than in season one, him being all happy and giving him and Troy hugs and kisses and stuff, because you never saw that side of him. Seven of Nine talked like Seven of Nine again. She talked like an intelligent woman. Whenever Seven used to get mad on Voyager, she used to talk a certain way, and she did that here. It's not like how she was in season. She got pissed off, yeah, in this episode, but not as pissed off as she was in season one. And so people are starting to feel like themselves again. It's great and stuff, and I'm just happy, man. And stuff. See what complaining does and seeing what getting your feelings hurt does. Because Patrick Stewart probably had his feelings hurt when he started seeing all the bad reviews and stuff for the show, especially season 2, man, because he had a huge helping hand in that. And so, like, but he realized, okay, this is what I should have done to the beginning, because he never wanted to come back to this show in the beginning, because he was afraid it will undo everything that happened over 20 years ago, and it did. And so he realized, all right, now I need to go back to form, bring back the original cast, get rid of the new cast, except for like two of them, and, you know, rock and roll again. And that's what they're doing. And so basically the plot is like this. Beverly is on the Idios, her ship, which is a nice ship design. First, let me get into this. There are two different starships you're seeing this. Well, Federation ones. There's the Titan that's being refitted, and it is the Ilios. Now, the Titan is a very old retro style looking starship that they're retrofitted and stuff. And it's like a new constellation class and stuff. And it basically looks like the Kelvin saucer a little bit, kinda, in the old school Enterprise, like a mash of all those. Personally, I think it's a little too old school looking, especially in this time era, the 25th century. Like, here's the thing about Star Trek and the Picard series. I don't mind if technology advances and look different. When they did like the holographic screens, I was okay with that in Picard, just not Discovery. When they had that new warp drive, I'm okay with that in Picard, just not Discovery, because Discovery was set back in the past, and that made no sense. You know, so when they started updating their technology here and there, I was okay with that. But the Titan is a little too old school. Now, the Ilios is a great looking design. It looks like something post Voyager Deep Space Nine, but also 25th century like. It just has a really good design to it. Weirdly enough, the bridge is so small, it's the size of a shuttlecraft. Like, no kidding. Like, when you see it towards the end, when the shuttlecraft goes and dock, it's literally the size of the bridge. Stuff, which makes no sense. That's a tiny bridge. And Beverly seems to be the only person manning this ship along with her son, Jack Crusher. Yes, and it turns out that that is Picard's son. He had no idea. She has kept that hidden from him because she has abandoned all her friends for 20 years. She has not talked to anybody from the Enterprise and don't know why. And so she is attacked by the new villain. Now, here's my thing. When they did this, like, I'm all for homages, but look, y'all, I get it. This is kind of like an apology letter to all the fans. So they went very old school with a lot of stuff. They went all around her ship, showing like all this stuff from like back in the TNG days and stuff. Her flowers, Jack's like briefcase and all this stuff. Picard's like computer terminal that he uses. It looks like a laptop, you know? And it's like, and so much other stuff. And she's playing a recording from like Patrick Stewart from back in the day. And the music that's playing in the beginning, I didn't like the music playing in the beginning. Anyway, but yeah, they really went old school to make the fans happy. Even her old hypo spray. I mean, like, that was like, okay, it's a little too much on the nose, but hey, thank you for it. You know what I'm saying? And so she gets into a phaser fight with the bad guys. Now, every time Gates McFadden holds a phaser, which I think she's only held 4 times in her entire Star Trek tenure, 3 out of those 4 times, she has like a little bit of a grin on her smile and everything, a grin on her face, because she was never allowed to hold a phaser back in the day. And she used to always fight to hold one and use one on the show. So every time she gets to, she always has like a smirk on her face. Now, this is what's kind of interesting and weird at the same time. The phaser rifle is the exact same kind from the First Contact movie and the ones that they used on Voyager, which is weird because those should be outdated by now and they should have a newer design. Now, it's tweaked a little bit here and there to glow with little red things to let you know, hey, this is set to kill. But what's weird is that in order to fire it, every time you have to cock it. Why? They don't do that in Star Trek. They literally have an energy cell. They press a button and it loads and you can fire, like, you know, the little torpedo blast thingy. So why in the world have you have to cock it every time you shoot it? That's so weird and off-putting, and that's not very Star Trek. Which goes to show you these writers don't know what the world they doing. They just did it to make it look more action-packed, but it just looks dumb. Like, what if you don't have time to cock it? So she ends up vaporizing the dude. Like, she is out to kill, but she ends up getting hit. So who is this villain? Why are they after her? And why is she on the edge of Federation space when nobody's supposed to be out there? And so when she got hit, I'm thinking to myself, okay, look, yo, you a doctor. Just fix yourself up real fast and then contact Jean-Luc. But no, she contacts him first. And when she contacts him, he's in his home. And once again, everything's dark. Can't see nothing. And so, but for some bizarre reason, she contacts his old TNG comm badge from the Enterprise D. Not only does it still work and it's still activated, but he has it in a briefcase attached to his old uniform. Why is his old uniform in a briefcase? Why isn't it hung up? You know what I'm saying? And why that communicator and that communicator only? Why not the one from the Generations movie or the First Contact movie? And I've always wondered how comm badges work. Like, I've always been curious and stuff. Like, sometimes I used to think back in the old days, okay, you just tap it, you can talk to anybody you want to in the Federation. No, it's not like that. So I'm like, okay, maybe each comm badge is fitted for an individual ship, so it can only contact that ship. But what if you're on like a deserted planet by yourself and you start hitting it? Can another starship hear it? Like, I've been wondering about that. And I know it's tailored to each officer. That's how they can find you when they like scanning you, because apparently they don't got cameras in some shows and stuff. And so but it's just weird that she contacted him on that one. So she tells him a distorted message comes through and she's all like, don't trust nobody, don't tell nobody, especially Starfleet. But why? Why can't he trust Starfleet? What is going on? Is this going to be similar to insurrection? I wonder, you know what I'm saying? So, of course, he just ends up telling everybody. She said this thing is supposed to be secret. Why are you blabbing to everybody? So he does it to Laris and everything. So this is probably the most we're going to see of Laris this season. He tells Riker and everything. And so Riker left his family to go help Picard out and stuff. And they need a ship. Basically, this first episode is an homage to all the TOS Star Trek movies and a little bit of Generations, which had the TOS cast in there as well. Because Beverly is wearing a jacket very similar to Kirk in one of those movies. Also, why in the world is Picard wearing like specs? Like, he has little glasses. You don't wear glasses on Earth no more in this time century. People eyesight is better. Gene Roddenberry would be pissed if he saw that. Just like he probably was when he saw the TOS movie that had Kirk wearing glasses that one time. But why is he wearing glasses? That don't make no sense. And this is why I hate the modern crap that's always in New Trek. And so, like, oh, also, the computer voice has changed. It's a new female. She sounds younger. Now, some fans are really upset about this. The only thing that bothers me about this is that she sounds too young. She doesn't sound like the original actress who played it. May she rest in peace. But the original actress who was also the wife of Gene Roddenberry and played the mother of Diana Troy and also Nurse Chapel and Number One back in the day. She recorded a library of different phrases so people can use after she passes away, and they would not use that for some reason. And that's kind of disrespectful in my opinion. And so, like, and also this new computer seems to have some type of AI sentient to it and stuff. It can talk back to you like a real person and even be sarcastic with you, which is really weird in a way. And if that doesn't happen on Discovery, them being the 32nd century, then that's going to be a huge continuity problem. And so, like, they're all like, okay, we got to get like a ship. So, of course, what they do, they end up stealing the ship from a space station. And it's the same type of space station from back in that TOS movie. And the way they come out of it is similar and this and that. Well, they get a ship that has 7 to 9 as the first officer. And she is the Titan, and Riker's no longer the captain on there. Now Captain Shaw is on there. Captain Shaw is a jerk. He is very much like Jericho by the books, but he is very grumpy. And he does not like ex-Borg. And that causes a problem between him and Seven, and that of Jean-Luc. He will not help him out, so they end up stealing it anyways, and that pisses Seven off because she's all like, why are you lying to me? What's this real mission about? And blah, blah, blah. So when he's asleep, they go on their little mission and, take him to the edge of Federation space. Now, I thought she was no longer in Starfleet. Now, like I said, I haven't seen the second season. I think in the second season she rejoins again, but supposedly she couldn't because she's former Borg. But Janeway pulls some strings, and now she's back in Starfleet, and already she's the commander? Like, how? Because she literally left, you know what I'm saying, to join those Ranger people and stuff. And so, I'm just kind of like, I get they want to make her a commander because, she's the former Star Trek actress, this and that. But she never seemed like she wanted to ever be in command when she was 7 and 9 back in the day. So wouldn't she be better as like engineering or science or something like that? And so she has to now go by Annika Hansen because that's what Captain Shaw will call her by. I thought she went by that in season 1 because she didn't care what you called her and everything, just as long as you called her one or the other. But I do like how she talks more like 7 and 9 again, like that smart, intelligent person, and not just going around beating people up and killing them. And also when Beverly and that rifle, it reminded me of something. Rifles look different now in the 25th century because 7 and 9 had 2 from the first season and they look completely different. But like I said before, they just wanted to do an homage. They also did an homage to the past. They upgraded it, but still made it look like old Trek. I like that. This is how it should have been. Also, this show does not have an intro. It has a title card sequence. It fits this tone in this season. However, I've never been a title card fan, no matter what show it is. I always like a good intro, but I don't like these intros in New Trek. And so, they go on the edge of space. They go on Beverly's ship, and her son pulls a phaser on them, only to find out that he is the son of Beverly, but he doesn't know he's Jean-Luc's son yet. Boy, I can't believe she made a son by him and never told him. That is messed up. Now, Shaw, he is very rude to Riker and that of Picard. And he just flat out don't like them for some reason. Mostly Picard because of the whole ex-Borg thing. Now, Seven was being rude to Picard again. Everybody's so rude to this man. And Riker stood up for him, only for her to get even ruder and stuff. I'm tired of people dumping on him. Now, one thing I found very odd is that when they was in the bar, there was a sketchy looking man who was spying on them. But it's never revealed who he is, but I bet you anything he's working for the bad guys. Now, how cheap can you go? So in the bar, they sell little figurines of starships. And they use the Eagle Moss ship. How cheap can you be not to make something look more fancy? Well, you have to use a collectible toy item and stuff. Now, another thing that did irritate me was when Shaw said he's not going on the mission because Picard is a retired admiral and doesn't have no seniority really, and Riker is like unenlisted right now, and so he's all like, I can find other people that's higher than your pay rate. There is no money on Earth. I'm so sick and tired of them talking about money. And so that's pretty much that entire episode. So even though there was a few things here and there I didn't like, I still enjoyed myself, man. It was just nice. It was pleasant. And nothing really bugged me too much like normal Trek did, or new Trek, I should say. And, I hope they keep this up. I hope to God they keep it up. Now, there was some other things that happened in this episode. Geordie LaForge has a daughter, and she is the ensign and con officer of the Titan. That's LeVar Burton's daughter in real life. I believe she's supposed to have a sister in this show. Now, the sister is not related to LeVar Burton. Also, Ralphie is back. Ralphie is on a secret mission for Starfleet. She's pretending to be a drug addict again, but she is starting to have some shakes because she wants to go back to her old habits. But she is looking for some type of red lady type thing, and we see a statue of the Enterprise sea captain. So what all this has to do, probably gonna lead us to our villain and everything. And you can actually find this episode like I did on YouTube from the Paramount Plus YouTube page and stuff. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.